You're listening to Your Worst Friend, Going Deeper, Season 2. Here are your hosts, Shane and Matt.
You're listening to Your Worst Friend, Shane and Matt, Going Deeper, okay? And today, we have a special guest with us today. Her name is Joslyn Jane. I'm going to tell you about the funny mix-up I had with her PR agent at one point while booking this. The most important thing, okay? You got to go follow her everywhere. You have to show our numbers and go out there and support these people because we love talking to these people and they're not going to come back if they get fucking nothing out of it, okay? So I want you to go to Twitter and I want you to follow her. XXX Joslyn, Joslyn. That's on Twitter. Instagram, and you know how much I love when all the names are different, which we'll get into. I assume it's probably a banning, and we'll dive into that. Instagram, you're going to follow her at Love, Love, Jos, Jos, Jane, Jane. And what we're pushing hard today is the OnlyFans account. Get out there, sign up for her OnlyFans account. Her OnlyFans is Joslyn Jane, Joslyn Jane. Joslyn Jane, thank you very much for being on with us today.
We're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let me give you the quick rundown, the story of what was happening.
Wait, I think I already know, but I want to hear you tell it.
I'm positive you know. I'm positive you know.
It's happened to me my whole career.
My suggestion to you is probably consider maybe you just go to Joslyn. But let me explain it. So Erica, your PR agent,
intentional
from the Rub PR. I was talking and we were booking girls and this and that. And I don't know where on the spectrum I am, but I'm somewhere where I see words and I mix them up and confuse them. And I read this and I go, okay, Erica wants to pitch us Joslyn James. And I go to Google Joslyn James. And I go, a little bit of an older chick, but that's okay. It's all right. I'd love to have her on, talk about the industry. Plus, look at me. I'm not judging anybody on this.
Yeah.
But I go, what was her claim to fame? Tiger Woods' ex-mistress. And I go, fuck. Okay, hear me out. I don't want to talk to this girl about anything porn related. I just want to discuss Tiger Woods. And then I start playing with it in my head. I'm like, well, is there a way I can just sneak in golf references the whole time? Like,
well, the thing is like golf. That's the even funnier part. Keep going.
I'm like, all right, how am I gonna pitch this? Well, Joslyn, what's it like when you're on a set and a guy just wants to put it in your 3-hole or whatever it is, and blah blah blah. Like, I'm trying to work on these stupid puns. And then I respond back to Erica. I go, hey, Erica, I don't mind having Joslyn on. I think it would be great. But does she talk about her big thing, you know? And I'm trying to not directly go like she fucked Tiger Woods. Like, that's all I want to talk about. How many Masters has he won? And
you can Google that. I don't know about that.
Erica's like,
yeah, that's just stupidity on your part, man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't know sports good. That's definitely my role on this show.
You started thinking with the wrong head. It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
Well, see, I'm glad. Yeah, I was thinking with the one on my shoulders. So I go, can we talk about a big thing? And Erica goes, what do you mean, her ass? And I was like, no, not her fucking ass. The fact that she fucked Tiger Woods. Like, what are you talking about?
No, her vagina.
God. Yeah. The big thing. Her vagina. Yeah. Is she okay discussing
her 8-inch penis.
Yeah. Now that would be a discussion. Her fucking 8 wood. So then she clarified. She was like, LOL, no, it's Joslyn Jane. And we had Avery Jane on as well. And I kept wanting to call her Avery James. So I'm thinking I'm just, a little touched.
Y'all porn stars and y'all names.
So now that go ahead. I'm sorry.
Actually, I have a funny story about her name recently. So I was waiting in a restaurant to sit down, and I was sitting waiting in the foyer, just standing at this place in Miami. And this guy comes up to me, and I'm like dressed very much like a porn star. Like, I'm not dressed in athletic clothes. I'm like Joslyn Jane.
Sure.
He comes up to me. He's like, excuse me, are you Joslyn James? And I said, no. And he kind of looked down and walked away. And later on that night, I met up with Dee Siren and I told her the story, and she started laughing hysterically because she actually knows Joslyn personally. And she was like, that guy went home and was like, I missed it by 2 letters. 2 letters.
Oh, yeah. That's yeah. Now look, why not use that to your advantage though? Someone hits you with that, just be like, yeah, I'll take a picture with you. Come on.
But then the problem is like, if they put this out on the Twitterverse or like social media,
they tagged it wrong. There you go. There's your solution.
You're right.
It doesn't do anything for you. It's just funny in the moment.
It's their stupidity.
It's just funny.
It's just funny in the moment. Yeah, and it makes them look dumb. Then you comment on their. It's funny. I'm having this porn superstar go and like track down all these people to comment. Actually, my name is Joslyn Jane. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so that confusion does happen.
All the time.
Okay, good. Great, wonderful. So let's dive in. How did you get into the industry? How did you go like, this is what I'm gonna do?
So basically, I was kind of like at a crossroads in my life. I graduated from college and thought I wanted to go to grad school, but got rejected and kind of had to like reevaluate and reassess my life. And I had been an extra in a few scenes and I knew a few recruiters. So basically, I showed up to the Bang Bros casting office. They took, pictures of me, brought me into the office, and they said, do you have a hair tie? And I said, yes. And I pulled my hair up and they said, you're our new cop. And I said, what are you talking about? And they said, you'll see. And that's basically how it started. And then I was on this site called Black Patrol. Within like 4 or 5 episodes of the site, we were on an exclusive contract. So it was sort of like this surreal kind of moment of you're like pulled in, and I really didn't know anything about the industry at all.
It's like a real life Dirk Diggler moment, getting sucked in like real quick.
Well, the funniest part is that so this was September of 2016 that we shot the first scene. It was on a Saturday, I'll never forget. And this was back when they were still having girls webcam in the building.
Sure.
And an Uber driver came in. An Uber driver came in, and as he came in, I'm literally like sitting on this guy's face. My partner is like riding him, and he's like, that's fine. I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello, world. I guess this is my introduction to the industry. That.
Hell yeah.
So it was crazy.
So I have a question real quick. But just before we go any further, you had alluded to being an extra. And I think we touched on it a little, but what goes into being an extra in porn?
Not much. Like, not
do you just
really
like
much.
You stand in sometimes?
And it's funny. Well, it's funny because everyone is always like, oh, I've never seen extras in films. And I'm like, that's because you fast forward. Like, why would you?
Yep, sure.
But there is, so for like the bigger companies, the bigger sites, a lot of the time, well, this was, in 2015, 2014, it's probably changed now. But a lot of the time they wanted like a female who was well-spoken, who could kind of remember lines and kind of go back and forth and carry on dialogue. And I was really good at that. I had a recruiter who always contacted me for that. So
okay,
that's kind of how it started. But we got into a little bit of an altercation. He kind of like, basically I didn't have 2 IDs for a shoot. And he basically like went off on me and completely berated me for like not having 2 IDs for an extra scene, which is like, if you get paid like 100 to 150 cash for the day. But if you're a talking extra, you have to stay there all day. So it's a long day.
Sure.
So
Shane, did you want to piggyback that, or because I have a
so
question.
With just to clarify, when the talking extra is done talking, they have like a body double come in and get fucked.
Or does the extra not get fucked? Is the extra just like, oh,
no,
you were
the extra doesn't.
barista
The extra doesn't get.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
the
just want to
extra,
clarify.
like, and you're kind of like, they'll make comments. Well, this happened when I was on set. Like, they would make comments and like say things about me being sexy, and sometimes they'd be like, "Whoa, like we don't know how she's gonna react," because like I was a civilian at the time, so you never know how people are gonna react. And
Yeah,
on
join
certain
the porn corps.
yeah, on certain scenes, you know, there's a lot of extras, and they all have like very different backgrounds, so you just never know.
That's very progressive of porn. Which I want to, you know,
Always has been.
to be like, oh, you know, your dick's fucking 9 inches deep in someone, and you're like, I don't want to offend you with my language, so just let me know if I say anything that hurts your feelings over there, please, and I will correct myself. I want to go back to some other things, but also we will get into Black Patrol later because there's something I want to talk about with that. You
Sure.
said you went to college and then you applied for grad school. What was your major when you went to college?
Well, I was a psych major in school, but then I wanted to get into industrial organizational psychology, which is basically looking at
I don't know what that means either. Yeah.
So basically it's looking at psychology more in a business atmosphere. So like you go in, did you ever see House of Lies?
No, but I was gonna ask, what about Billions?
Yeah, exact.
Maggie
sort of
Siff,
like not hedge funds. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like
so
that.
what I'm hearing is people are crazy. How do we make money?
Yeah. And neurotic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I was well, let me reassess. All right. Can I ask you, is this offensive to ask? I know you don't ask. Wait, how tall are you?
5'9".
Okay. All right. It almost seems like you're cast even like big. You're very muscular. You're in shape, right? It seems like. Yeah. Okay. Can I ask what kind of girl you were in high school? Because I have a prediction. Shane, I'm going to make a comp to somebody we went to high school with.
Okay, and that's fine. And afterwards, I'm going to piggyback off of it and bring up somebody I know who's really tall as well, just for a comparison, so I can make you look like a fool.
Oh, me? Okay, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm gonna say you were top 25% of your class, probably top 20% of your class. I'm gonna say
I don't
you were
even know what percentage I was.
Okay, but you were a smart girl. I'm gonna say you were.
I'm still smart. Yeah.
You're very well. Yeah. Well, you're spending a day talking to us, so your intelligence points are going down slightly. I'm gonna say you were kind of a smart.
Bad decisions. Yeah.
I'm gonna say you played sports, probably basketball. You said golf, and can I ask what state you grew up in?
Okay.
Or do you not discuss that? What region? How about what area?
Well, so here's the thing. I grew up in Miami, but I moved to New York after my freshman year of high school. So I kind of have.
So that ruins one. I was gonna say field hockey too, basketball and field hockey, but I'm taking field hockey off the table, right? Sounds like. Yeah, that's it. That's my assessment of you. You were kind of an athletic chick, but you were like, I don't know. Did you get bullied? Let's put it that way. Shane and I, we weren't in the cool crowd at all, but we never really even got bullied. Like, school was just nonchalant to us. Like, it was nothing.
Yeah. So, like, I never really got bullied. So, when I moved to New York, I went to an all-girl Catholic high school.
Okay.
So that was
bullied by God.
Yes. And lesbians and weird outfits. But so I was like, and so, you know, I'm a bigger woman, I'm a bigger girl. So like, no, unless you were ready to fight, you didn't really come up to me or say anything to me, or because I am a very nice person. Until you flip that switch and I become a very not nice person. I snap like very quickly. I have the ability to do that, unfortunately.
Using your psych background, what causes that? Because I do the same thing. I used to put holes in walls all the time, but I don't anymore, and I've worked on that.
I think what it was is I let people, I think for a really long time, like I didn't think that I was worth it. Like I didn't think that I was worthy of love or affection or anything like that. And I think that I just let people walk all over me for such a long time that I finally one day was like, like I just.
Can I ask you, does that play into why you decided to get into porn at all? You're the center of attention. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, I've heard,
partly, yeah.
Sure. So I heard on an interview I don't even know when this interview was. I was like listening to it in the car with my wife. You want to get out at 35.
I'm sorry for your wife.
No, she loves it. My wife's more into chicks than I am, so I mean it's totally cool. Don't worry about it. You said before you got in at what, 26?
Yeah.
And you want to get out by 35.
Yes.
Is that still the plan? Is that still where you want to go with this? Now, why is that? I mean, if you have some people that go on, like Nina Hartley goes on forever. I mean, Nina Hartley could put out a new scene and she'll make, $500,000 easy on her whatever. Why not keep banking that cash?
I don't know exactly. Like I when I get to 35, I'll assess it a little bit better. Sure. But the way that my body sort of has reacted to this industry is like I'm just a little bit run down.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's like me if that's a me, it's definitely a me issue. But I just don't see myself like being the performer that I am at 36, 37 because of some of the issues and injuries that I have now. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know like how that's going to, I don't know how me like riding a dick at 38 is going to translate.
Probably awesome still, but like I'll let you make your own self-assessment on that.
But like the geriatric, I don't know if everyone wants the geriatric version of Joss, but I don't know if they're ready.
What about changing like niches or markets within porn? So like instead of being like like a fucking a bouncing bottom fucking riding queen, like now you're a fucking gagging throat queen or something like that. Like,
or like a pillow princess.
Yeah, switching fields. Yeah, like who says you can't like tap into a new market every 5 years?
You're right. I didn't even think about that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. See, changing the
that'll
life
be 15% of all your future revenue, please.
Yeah.
Well, it's not in writing, so
yeah.
You're right. It's recorded.
So that's all right. That's a good thing. I think it's good to hit that and self-assess later on. Now let me go back to.
I don't know how I'll feel, but I have friends who are like older and they still perform, and they have so many like it's almost like they're athletes, right? They're like
sure.
And
they literally are athletes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're there are sexual athletes. Like people are gonna argue with me on this, but that's fine.
No, I agree with that. Like cheerleaders, people are like cheerleaders aren't athletes. No, cheerleaders are fucking athletes.
Yes, man. Absolutely. Yeah.
Honestly, I was that type of kid in high school. I wanted to be a cheerleader. I wanted to be small and little and tiny.
So that's actually how I was going to piggyback off of Matt's thing when he just like bluntly like was like, you're real fucking tall, kind of like a freak, so I was gonna say like my wife has a friend who's really tall, and she had always
what's really tall?
I think she's 5'11". She's taller than me, and I'm 5'10". So she's 5'11", I think. So she's like beautiful. She's kind of looks like you, actually. It's weird. She's blonde. She's got curves. She's athletic. She's really friendly and pretty and nice. But she said that like one of her biggest like hurdles in relationships and just in like maintaining relationships with men, even when you have a relationship with them, and having like a healthy like partner balance, her height has always been an issue. So I was wondering like have you taken that thing, which probably, and I think you already said, like, it always has been something that made you feel different. You wished you were smaller. So has going into porn giving you the opportunity to take your height, something that used to make you feel uncomfortable or like another, and use it as something you're proud of to flourish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
But it's funny, like
those giantesses.
Well, I'm 5'9". I don't really consider myself to be that tall, but the thing is that my dad is 6'4", my brother's 6'4", all my cousins are like 6'4", 6'5". But when I was in college, I was seeing this guy who was 6 feet, and I was kind of fucked up one day, and I looked at him and I said, you're kind of short.
Oh man. Oh man.
That's awesome.
I don't have an issue with it because I have my own weight issues, but we have a friend. We have a friend who would be devastated.
He would
by
be crushed. He would be crushed.
No, I said it. I didn't say it that way. I said it like, oh, like we're eye level. And he was like, well, you should take your boots off. And I said, no, actually, I think I'm going to keep them on. Like, for me, as somebody, like, especially growing up in Miami, I'm taller than most men in Miami, period.
Sure.
Like,
oh, yeah, you got a lot of Cubans.
Sure, and Latin Americans. And I remember I had this guy that I was seeing, he was Nicaraguan, and I showed up with, like, literally, like, a 2-inch heel. Like, I don't wear heel. And the thing is, too, is that I have kind of like back and feet problems now, so I'm fine with just wearing flats. But for some reason, they had like a little heel, and he goes, "You have to take those off before we go out." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "You can't be taller than me." And I said, "Honey, people have eyes; they can see. Like, who gives a fuck? I don't care. Why does it matter?" And that's always been, I always talk about that with my friends. Like, it's because I never feel self-conscious or weird about it, but guys always make it weird.
I've never had to think about it either, though, as a man. And I find it so strange, too, because my wife is like I would say like 7 inches shorter than me. And it's always been like a cute thing. But now she does pole dancing, and she's kind of a slut. So she wears these stripper heels all the time. So she wears these like 8-inch heels and will be eye level, or she'll be taller than me. And I'm like, oh, damn, you're tall now. It's hot, like it's hot either way. Like, I don't understand like where this complex even really came from.
Yeah, you'd have to ask men that. I don't know.
You know what, though?
I should find a man and ask one. Yeah.
Let me ask if it goes both ways, right? Say some guy comes and he sweeps you off your feet. He's just like everything you've ever wanted in a guy. He makes you feel complete. He makes you feel good. He makes you go like your own self-assessment. He's not asking you to, but you're like, do I get out of porn and just settle down with Jose here or John, whatever his fucking name is, and just really Then you see him in person. He's 5'2".
He obviously lied, right?
No.
Lied.
He didn't lie. You met him like through texting through a friend and blah blah blah, and you talked, and you're like, wow.
I don't do that.
You don't do that. Okay.
Oh, that's how I got married.
My wife came in a crate, by the way. Go ahead.
I think 5'2" would be too small for me. And the thing, I don't know, like, because at that point, like, where do you
see?
Could he even get it in?
Like, are you at my waist? Like, where are you, buddy?
See,
like,
but see that you see how there's kind of that double standard.
No,
there?
it's right. It's fucked up. I'm a fucked up human, but but I would say like 5'6" and up, I would be okay with. Okay. But
dude, I'm just picturing like every fucking frat boy going like, if she doesn't have stacked double D's and a big fat ass to sit on my face every night,
and
it's
weighs
a fucking deal breaker.
135 pounds.
Yeah.
like,
it's fucking over, dude. I'm not having it if it's not those three things specifically.
Final straw.
See, I have pitched that to my wife before. I go like, would you still love me? And Jen fucking I offer nothing physically. I'm just, it's all up here that she enjoys, which is surprising too. But I've
That's
said,
the
You
most
have nice
shocking
skin,
part.
though. I'm not gonna
oh
lie.
no, I have shit skin. I have a really good filter. I got
Okay.
look, I got decent eyes. My
I
eyes are
can send you
bright blue.
some skincare recommendations.
No, I think I'm just gonna peel my face off like I'm in a Hellraiser movie. Made her spit, made her choke. Second girl I've made choke. I gagged
Oh,
Joslyn
man.
Jane. I gagged Joslyn Jane.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have like a tally at the end of this season and do a post for it, like all the fucking gals Matt made come over the seasons.
You can't say it like that. It's got to be like, a real assessment of the situation. But with Jen,
girls don't come when they throw up water all over the place.
Okay.
That was a dead giveaway.
I've done the thing where I go like, "You love me," and Jen's like, "Yeah, I love you," and I go, "What if I was like this?" And she goes, And I think
You just described a garden gnome, honey.
Yeah. A really funny garden gnome with skin that is
the guy
apparently
from those Travelocity commercials. It's always,
It's just it's to me, I feel like it is a double standard we must break out of, because I am not offended by it. I would have a chick that was 6'4" or fucking 4'8". 4'8's that's a little,
that's legally a midget.
You get a parking pass. That would be pretty cool though. But
take advantage of them.
There you go. But no, height's never been a thing for me. It's never been like something that bothers me. I'm average height. I'm like 5'9.5". Totally good. Let's put it this way. I have too many other dimensional problems with my own body from the neck down to worry about height.
But how about in porn though? Like and forgive me, I am not as familiar with your outside of the Black Patrol work.
Sure.
So have you done anything to capitalize on your height in porn, like swallowing babies, and what are those things? What are those little dwarves that you swallow?
The little people. Oh, I've never even heard of that term.
No?
Yes, I did it. No, I haven't. I'm just learning something new.
Go ahead, keep talking. I'll pull it up.
I used to shoot for this fetish company, and I did a lot of stuff like giantess stuff and things like that. I used to do lift and carry, which is where you pick someone up. But I'm too human for that. I can't do that anymore.
What about like workouts and shit like that, where it's like you're I could, like Matt put it pretty brazenly. He's like, "Oh, you look like a fucking field hockey player," but it looks like you could definitely, like, pick up a kettlebell.
Actually, it's funny. So in high school and also in college, I was on the crew team. So you guys weren't far off. Everyone assumes that I played basketball because I'm a basketball fan and I'm tall, but it's not the case. So
can't mix business and pleasure.
Well, no, I mean, that just wasn't a sport. Like, I played soccer growing up. I played roller hockey. But basketball wasn't really in our, like, where I grew up, it wasn't a big thing.
Sure.
So
your school, though, right?
Bigger.
Like New York was, okay.
Well, no, so I grew up in Miami, and then I lived in New York when I was 15 to 18.
Okay.
So like the girls in New York, like by the time I got there, I was like, well, I can't even play I can't even like learn basic skills. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, they're so far ahead. I might as well just do something else to utilize my size. So
that makes sense. Let me ask you this. So we talked about your Black Patrol scenes. We also talked about how porn is. I find porn to be. I don't want to say this in a negative way, because it's not in a negative way at all. But it's kind of this fun double standard that I'm like, porn is always walking the line of being in trouble and not being in trouble. So, there's no one more progressive when it comes to trans people than porn. I think, we accept it. We love it. We think it's awesome. And we're not putting any political opinions. I'm not asking your political opinion unless
it's so weird about that when you talk about it, though, because my dad, I always thought he would be all on board for the trans people because, like, it's always been in the porn he had. But then when this became like a big, like, human rights issue, now all of a sudden he's got a problem with them.
Okay, all right. My point.
How dare you have feelings?
My point was more that it's like porn is both progressive at the same time, but doesn't bow down to like the language policing. Like you will regularly have a trans girl in a scene titled tranny fucks chick, blah, 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 blah. Now, if you say tranny in any other aspect of life, you are totally in trouble, and maybe you should be, or whatever else, I don't know. But what I would say is, going back to you, do you worry 10 years from now someone's trying to burn down your house because of the Black Patrol scenes you did in the post George Floyd era?
Yeah, so I mean, I get a little bit of hate.
Let me pause you. It's not an indictment of the scenes at all. Like it's
Sure.
it's acting. It's totally I don't think Leonardo DiCaprio is a raging racist because he was shouting the N-word in Django. Okay, I think he's an actor.
Exactly.
Sorry, I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Yeah. So listen, there are people who are not okay with it. But for the most part, people really loved it and enjoyed it. And listen, if it bothers you and it triggers you, then I'm sorry. But I was just playing a role, and the thing is that I was brand new in the industry. I didn't really understand the implications of the scenes that I was doing at the time. So there were certain things that the other girl in the series didn't want to say, and I would usually have to say it. And not because I wanted to say it, but because I literally just wanted the day to be over, I would just do it. But listen.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't even imagine that. Wow.
Yeah, well, but listen, we never say the word or anything like that. And there are a lot of people who are like, oh, well, it's a fine line and blah, blah, blah. And like, okay, but at the time you have to understand, like at the time when this series came out, this was 2016, and I have a lot of friends in my past that have been pulled over by the cops that are people of color. Sure. And I've heard their stories, and they've told me their stories. And part of what I tried to bring to that character, people are probably going to say, oh, white privilege, whatever, fine. Or not fine, but it is what it is. I tried to make Officer Jane like the cops that I had been told stories about. Sure. That was mean, that was malicious, that was in your face, that was trying to get a rise out of you. And some people say, oh, your acting was horrible or your acting was great. It is what it is. But I watched, and also, by the way, we watched a lot of Cops episodes, like a lot of Cops episodes. I mean, I never want to watch that show again if I can help it. So I also, too, kind of took into account their tone, the way that they acted. And I kind of just ran with it and made it my own. And if that hurts people, then I'm sorry, don't watch it.
Well, that's really interesting that because I think I was expecting something completely different as your answer. And I'm really glad that you gave the answer you did, because I think it's a really good answer, but it's just like, I hadn't even imagined that there would be someone on the set who would even say like, oh, you know what, I don't feel comfortable saying this, because I guess I hadn't put myself in that mindset. But hearing you, concisely explain it all, I think I don't want to downplay the art, because I do think, like, when you have to show up on set and you have to get in character, you have to get sexually aroused, horny, in the mood to perform, to make the scene work. Yeah. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Anyone who says it's not work and it's not art is a fool. So I don't want to downplay that aspect of it. But it's like, it's almost like those scenes, to me, they almost feel like the opposite of what people are mad about. It seems like those scenes are meant to be like a jab at the issue itself. So it's like, if we have a problem with white cops, targeting Black civilians and pedestrians, and then there's a scene that, I guess kind of parodies it,
That's what the guy who wrote it, that was his intention.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it seems like everyone's missing the point if they're mad at it. You know what I'm saying? So that's really where I came down hard. But you pointing out that there were people on set saying things like, oh, maybe we shouldn't go with this, maybe we shouldn't do that. The fact that dialogue even existed on the set does make me re-question just having that answer as my immediate gut reaction answer. Like, but there were, go ahead.
There were certain things that we messed up on that the next day we would have to go back and so there were in the intros, they had us holding guns in the beginning and we couldn't be holding guns. And then, we had to constantly sort of switch it up because Visa was giving them issues. So every day it was okay, what sort of new challenge do we have to overcome today?
Wait a minute. So why couldn't you hold guns? This is just an acting thing.
Yeah. So, but the credit card processors, it looks too forced. It looks like they're hurting the guys. It looks like they didn't consent to this. Even though they did, and there's
disclaimers
footage, and there's releases, and there's everything. Our acting was just too good. It was too believable.
Yeah, it was too convincing. Yeah.
So you've been all right. Let me just plug you one more time because I want to talk about some OnlyFans stuff and this and that.
Plugger.
Plug me.
OnlyFans, Joslyn Jane, Joslyn Jane. Go sign up for her thing. It's I'm sure the content is just out of this fucking world because she's so much fun to talk to and so interesting. But you talk about the credit card processors. It's crazy. Were you nervous when OnlyFans started doing their fucking, bowing down a little bit? I know they relented and fought back, and I can appreciate that and understand that. But were you like, fuck, man, I might have to get out of this if they're just getting rid of, if people don't know, the credit card processors, I believe it was the credit card processors or the banks were pushing hard on OnlyFans, like, hey, you got to clean up your content. You have to, get rid of all the hardcore porn, this and that, whatever it is. How much of that do you have experience with? How much have you seen that? It sounds like I can think of at least 2 incidents where the Black Patrol thing and then also OnlyFans, but where you're like, man, we just want to do this and they are coming down on us for XYZ. We just want to shoot porn. What is your opinion on that type of stuff?
Well, when the whole OnlyFans thing happened, I have other platforms. So I have a ManyVids page and I have other revenue streams that I've already established. OnlyFans was sort of the last platform that I had, that I started.
Okay. That's what I wanted to talk about with OnlyFans. I assumed it was your last, right? Because you probably had a big following to start on OnlyFans. You probably... Because I noticed you can't really search for people on there or anything. So it's you have to bring people to it,
Yeah. And then people are suggested to other people. If you're friends with people, if you shot with people, it's all sort of interconnected. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So... All right. So you did, Shane was right. You gave such a nice, concise answer. And it almost was that porn, not a double standard. Double standard's the wrong word because double standard sounds so negative. But you were very much
campy.
Sure.
Porn is campy. It's not. And the other thing too, and I've had people say to me, I've had people I've had friends say to me, oh, well, my friend says that your site is racist. And I said, well, you know what? Sometimes I think people take their porn a little too seriously. That's fine for you, but it's meant to be campy and a little bit of a fantasy, right? Because it is
I mean,
you are creating a fantasy.
It's when you take it seriously on a porn set, you're racist. But when Jared Leto mails a dead rat to his co-star, he's a fucking brilliant actor, you know?
He did that? Oh my God.
Yeah, because he was staying in character.
I was just talking about Jared Leto yesterday with the girl I shot with.
The weird thing is, it was for his role in Dallas Buyers Club, so no one really understood it.
I never saw that movie.
I'm joking. It was when he was playing the Joker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He honestly, like, I know he's like a very good looking man, but his appearance like kind of like makes me a little bit.
He's a little ghastly, huh?
Yeah, like he just, when I look at him, like I feel cold, like immediately. I don't know if it's because he's so pale and he looks like, you know, a character out of Lord of the Rings, but he's like, I don't know, it's something.
I think that's
doesn't
the
he
most...
have a cult? He has a cult too, right?
I was just gonna say, more than cold from him, and I don't know if he has a cult, but I get and this is not a positive, almost like, I'm going to try and use a big word here, like a messianic type look from him. Like he looks like he tries to be kind of a messiah. And I don't
almost
know
like an L. Ron Hubbard.
Do you remember the big thing when COVID first broke? He was fucking in a tent in he was
like
doing
Jordan,
like a 7-day no talk fast. I think it was in a desert in like California or somewhere. And he came out in the middle of COVID first breaking. And I wonder if the first thought that came to Jared Leto's head is, fucking, I step away for a week and the world falls apart. Like, I don't know what.
I mean, it's true though.
You think he's that narcissistic?
Oh, yeah. Look, I have no experience with the guy. I don't know the guy. I liked 30 Seconds to Mars. I thought they were a decent pop band. His acting is great, but I think he's, the definition probably of a narcissist.
I think he controls the weather.
All right.
I think he's listening right now.
Yeah. Well, he hears all. That's what being omnipotent is.
All knowing, yeah.
So
I wanted to ask about your OnlyFans there. So like with you said you had these other pages established, you have your OnlyFans. Is there something that sets it apart on that site in particular? Are you more interactive? Are you more personalized? Is there better content?
Yes, I'm very interactive. It's very personalized. I do a lot of customs on there. I post a lot of my content, girl, boy, solos, JOI, jack off instruction. I should probably clarify that term.
I'm a big JOI fan, not a big CEI fan.
I only do CEI. I don't want to be told how to do it, how to get it out of me, but tell me how to eat it.
About that. I have a story about that. So I forgot. I often forget about my time, like after Black Patrol. I webcammed a lot, and so webcam is like it's a different level of weird. Like, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it is like. Sometimes like I would get asked questions and I literally, like, you could just see the reaction on my face. I literally didn't know what to do. So this guy, he would take me into private. He would come into a clear petri dish.
Scientist.
And then he would show me the shots and be like, doesn't this look like an animal? What animal does it look like? And I'd be like, a giraffe. And he'd be like, I thought it was a lion. I was like, yeah, a lion. Let's go with that. I don't know. This is the weirdest thing that anyone, like, this is like Barnum's Animal Crackers with JIT. Like, what is going on?
Oh man, that's awful. I find the longer the cum sits out, like outside of the body, the worse it gets, Like if it's not like 30 seconds fresh or less, it's fucking stale, boy.
Well, and my whole thing is too, like, after the whole interaction, I'm like, oh my God, is he married? Like, does he put that petri dish in the dishwasher? Like, what? I have so many questions for him. Like, what do you do? Like, who knows about this weird fetish? Like,
only you.
And yeah, only
and
me,
now our listeners.
Now everyone else.
So, all right, using your psychology background.
Okay. Well, no. Before we diagnose him, I wanted to ask, and then this is a perfect segue too, because I wanted to ask, by piggybacking off of, the more personalized aspect of OnlyFans, if you have people who are coming on there just to interact with you specifically, just to have conversations with you. I get a sense that there's a lot of lonely dudes out there. I heard this word incel lately.
Yeah.
And I get the idea that there's a lot of dudes who can't come in women or on women. So they use the internet as a tool for that. So I'm wondering, like, if you're getting like guys who are not even wanting videos or pictures or anything like that. They just want interaction.
Yeah. So there are a lot of men out there, well, people in general, like sometimes, like, I've had a few over the years, neurodivergent fans, and they message me and they tell me, listen, I'm autistic. They basically strive for this human interaction, and they understand that we're getting paid to talk to them, but they still, I don't know, they want that emotional connection with someone.
Feels good.
Feels good. It feels good to have people care about you and love you. I mean, who doesn't want that? So.
And so are you into that? Do you get something out of that? Like, I mean, obviously like money, but do you get a satisfaction out of bringing like a little bit of happiness into somebody's life where they might not otherwise get it?
I do. I definitely do. And so I'm one of those weird people. I never really got attached to celebrities. So like, let's say that I'm Jared Leto's biggest fan. I see him out.
Run.
And he's like, come with me, Joslyn. Walk with me.
Walk into the darkness.
Across this ocean, walk with me.
So like, even if I'm very like, I'm a very awkward and shy person in real life. I'm very like, I kind of like, I got attractive later on in life. So I have a lot of like anxiety and sort of like different issues that I have to sort of deal with. But, so like, let's say I see him, right? And he's looking at me and I'm looking at him, and I know that he knows who I know that he knows, I know he's famous, whatever. Even if I wanted to go over and say, hey, I'm such a huge fan, my mom, from the time that I was a little kid, and we would go to New York City and visit my grandparents, she would say, do not, if you see a celebrity out, do not, and I repeat, do not come up to them. They're trying to blend in and fit in. Don't be one of those people that's from LA. That was basically the way that my mom talked to me about it.
Hey, shout out to Jason Lee. Sorry for that time I did that to you at Disneyland.
So now, right, like I'm on the opposite spectrum of it, and I meet people and they're like, it's you, like, I can't believe it's you, like, you're here, I'm meeting you in real life, like, you're a person. And for a long time, it was really hard for me to like get that concept. And like, we're all human. But a lot of people, like, when they see you on a screen for so many years, and like, they see you in this finite space, and then when they see you in real life, they're like, oh my God, like, you're real.
And they haven't had anyone else to have an actual connection with. So it's like it must be like the word you used earlier, surreal. It's like, I haven't had a connection with anybody, and then now I'm having it with this person who doesn't even seem real through my little screen,
or the perception of a connection.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a connection. So let me ask you, say I'm the guy from that meme where he's got the vein going through his head, and he's like, I see Joslyn Jane, and I'm like, oh, I have to say something. If someone had to come up to you and talk to you, because it sounds like maybe you kind of want to keep the distance, what's the appropriate way to do that? So I see you eating ice cream on a fucking boardwalk in Miami or something.
Hey, like, can I put some cum on it?
Do not come up to me mid-lick, okay? And also, too, if I see you watch me eating the ice cream cone, you're immediately on the it list.
So like, no staring. It's like you immediately have to recognize you and come up and just be like, hey.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I was out. This happened
just look
recently.
At her tits.
Yeah.
Just get real close and stare.
Sometimes like people will just stop and stare at me. But you have to understand, this has been going on. I've been stopped and stared at and gawked at since I was 15, living in Miami. Like, I had a friend
that growth spurt.
Yeah, I had a friend who basically like explained it to me. He was like, listen, you look like a Viking. Like, you look like this Viking creature who just came off a boat, who's about to
That's a hot compliment.
Rape and pillage. Like, and he's like, you do not look like you fit in Miami. And that has been my experience for many, many years. So it's like, at this point, it's like people are gonna gawk and stare at me and point at me anyway. So fuck it, whatever.
All right. So here's what I'm doing. I'm coming up to you. You're licking your ice cream cone. I wait till you're between licks, and I go like this. I don't touch you, obviously. It'd be great if I just grab your shoulders and I go, I'm a huge fucking fan of yours. No, I don't touch you. I come up and go, hey, big fan of your work. I hope you have a nice day. Is that appropriate?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I've had people come up to me and they're like, oh, like, is your name Joslyn? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, oh, like, I'm a huge fan.
They're like, I loved Tiger in 2014. He fucking just crushed Augusta that year. Okay, all right, go ahead.
No, honestly, I wish I could play like Tiger. I wish I was Joslyn James so he could have given me some pointers all those years ago, because I play golf now and it's horrible.
Yeah, why do you do it then?
Masochism.
Okay,
nice.
Fair.
They got a porn market for that
helps,
too.
Yeah. It also helps me, honestly, it helps me relax. And I also too, I'm not a huge nature person, but I do believe that it's good to get out there and be in nature sometimes. So
Okay. All right. I think that's cool. We're gonna be wrapping up soon. Let me do the plugs one more time, just to make sure we properly promote Joslyn here. It is Joslyn Jane, not James. Okay, Joslyn Jane is infinitely. This is a rude thing to say. I think she's so
infinitely
much hotter
taller.
Taller. It'd be great if Joslyn James is fucking 6'2" and she beats you up.
It's actually not infinitely. I mean, you can quantify the difference in their height, but. Whatever.
I was trying to throw words in the hole. Sorry.
Her Twitter account is XXX Joslyn, JOSLYN. Her Instagram, Love, LOVE, Joss, JOS, Jane, JANE. And the big thing we're pushing, go to her OnlyFans. Joslyn, JOSLYN, Jane. Sign up for it. Since we're wrapping up here soon, I have to ask you some questions Shane's going to have no interest in. Shane, would you like to get out any other interesting questions?
I have a question for you.
Yes, please. Cool.
What are you dabbing?
It's like King's Fire or something. I don't know. I'm not like a weed guy. I go to the dispensary and no, I smoke weed all the time, but like I don't know anything about it, you know? It's kind of like when you have a nice car, like you're an old man. I have a neighbor who's like an old man. He drives a Corvette, but he doesn't know shit about cars. He fucking retired and bought a Corvette because he's not married and he fucking wants to get, pussy. So, if you ask him what's under the hood, he's gonna be like, I don't fucking know, like I'm that way with weed, like I get what makes me high. And then like people are like, oh, what's the THC potency on that? I'm like, fucking no, dude.
I don't fucking know. Yeah.
I'm high.
Wait a minute. We didn't ask our one question, Shane, which is actually kind of important.
Zach.
But do you have any other questions for us, Joslyn?
No, what was your question?
That was her question. I'm
not
a weed guy. I'm not a weed guy. Ask a question. No, you're good. No other questions for us?
Yeah, no other questions.
Okay. Sat.
I
Go ahead.
want to say
apparently there's another question.
You should,
Go ahead.
No, it's just like an affirmation. You should be nicer to yourself.
Oh no. I haven't built my comedy on being nice to myself. Okay?
Oh yeah, you're right. That's true.
Sure.
Well, okay.
Go ahead. No.
Sorry.
Make your assessment. No. Please. I am open. I will discuss anything you want. Go ahead. What were you about to say? Why should I be nicer to myself? It'd be great if I got aggressive. Like, why the fuck should I be nicer to myself, Joslyn? Like, go ahead. No, tell me what's so great about myself. Got good skin? No, it's shit.
Because you only have you. At the end of the day, it's you. It's you.
I
you.
have literally said the same thing to him before. I've literally said the same thing. Oh my gosh. Yep.
I look in a mirror and you just go, you only have this, and you go, fucking great. Wonderful.
Well, yeah.
Eat, pray, love.
Yeah. Live, laugh, loathe.
Got that nice skin. through the
Shut
filter.
up.
Yeah.
So we always do this with performers. We ask them, okay, in terms of your no list, in terms of things you won't do, every time we present this to performers, we had to come up with the SAC. What is it?
List.
Anagram? No, what is it?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, gotcha. Anytime
acronym,
we go,
the SAC
acronym,
the
acronym,
sacronym.
That's smart. Every time early on when we were interviewing performers, we would go like, "What are some things you won't do?" And so many of them would be like, "Well, I won't fuck like animals or kids," and we're like, "Yeah, no, we got that." Like that's like a stat.
And I'm not gonna eat shit. And it's
Yeah.
like, all right, yeah, we know
Okay.
you're not gonna eat shit.
But scat is a thing though.
It's not
anyway,
a
continue.
thing we should accept, but okay, I understand.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right. It ain't right, but it's there.
I understand.
I'm not
All right.
gonna kink shame, man. If you want to eat shit, eat shit.
Yeah, Joslyn, if you're a shit chick, I mean, I'm cool with that too. Like, you know.
Yeah, I don't want sepsis.
Okay.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
So SAC, shit, animals, and kids. Those are obvious ones that are off of your list. Okay.
Yeah.
What are some other things you're just like, no, not like any amount of money? All right. Say I go, we said this with Sara Jay, who I know you've shot before. Sara Jay's never done an anal scene ever. And I go, what's the amount of money? And she goes, no amount of money. And I go, what if they give you 20,000 for a scene? She goes, no, not interested in that. That is something I will not do. What is something where you go, dollar amount aside, not gonna do this, and we're not talking about shit, animals, or kids?
Probably I'd say a DP.
Yeah, no, not interested in that.
With my anatomy and the way that I've tried it.
Oh, you're tight.
With toys. Well, yes, and I'm tight and I'm deep. And then it gets weird because like the weird thing for me, the weird sensation that I guess, I don't know, I don't have to get over it, but it's just weird, like to feel that you're literally like, you're stuffed. I mean, you're literally stuffed. That's
that like feeling. That little layer of skin in there.
Yeah. Turkey. Yeah, you feel like a Thanksgiving turkey. I mean, it's kind of a crazy feeling.
Yeah, I imagine it's difficult.
Yeah, and you can't really do much like in that position. So it's very, I don't know.
So that is that no amount of money though?
Yeah, I go,
here's 2 stacks, here's 20 grand. You're thinking about it.
My body might never recover though. That's
right.
my issue. Yeah.
So it's got to be an end game thing. Like you're like, last scene I'll ever do.
One last score, and then we're out.
I mean, like you could have there. I have heard of girls having things in the vault, just in case.
Sure.
The Prince move.
Yeah.
But you know, I haven't thought about it, and the thing is too is that I think too, like I really don't know 2 performers that I would feel comfortable doing the scene with too. I think that's a lot of it is like you have to find good male talent that is comfortable doing a DP, and like you're gonna feel the other dude's dick. Like, get over it.
Well, I don't know why that's such a hang up. Me and Matt were talking about that the other day, and he's like, well, it's because the other guy's dick is doing a lot of the work, providing friction against your dick. And I was like,
we talked about not DP, because there is a
oh yeah, we talked about
there.
Double stuffing. Yeah, you're right. We talked about double stuffing.
Double vag. Vag. You are at that point having
but even
60% of the woman making you come and 40% of some dude's dick making you come.
But even still, like
that's where I go like I challenge. I'm not.
You're coming.
There's a lot of things you can do to come. You can fucking have some pretty girl on the
I know, it's pretty exciting to find out like, oh wow, I didn't think that would make me come, but it did.
You know what? I'm sure sex is experimental for a ton of people and listeners right now. And at the same time, I'm just not willing to do that, you know?
Got it.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I've never asked guys like how they feel about it, but I definitely have heard of guys like being uncomfortable with like they don't do double vag, they don't do double anal, which I understand.
I can see it from a female perspective. Obviously, I mean, you're ruined. you know,
not ruined. You could ruined is a really negative word. I would say you're
that was a joke.
Okay.
I didn't literally mean that your vagina would never recover from, or that a DP would ruin you forever. I mean to say that, like, for a woman, it's a lot more of an undertaking. But for a man, it's a psychological hang up more than anything for a man. And it's like, dude, you're already working in porn. Like, you probably get cum flex on you and shit all the time. Like, what's the big deal? Like, let your dick grind against another dude's dick a little. Come on each other.
All right.
Don't eat each other's cum.
No, gross. Just eat your own at the
out of a petri dish
at the instruction from a ManyVids video. All right, we are gonna wrap up here. I have a little Shane is not gonna get any of these references. You're gonna shoot a scene and you have to pick from one of these two performers.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero?
Tyler Hero.
Okay, all right. Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo?
Bam.
Okay, all right. And tell me, why was Joel Embiid the MVP this year and they didn't give it to him? Can you tell me why that is?
Because nobody likes the Sixers. Is that the short?
That's wrong. I know one fucking guy on
porno
this
are you
call
talking
who
about?
Yeah, I'm not talking about porno. You were wonderful to talk to, Joslyn, but I have to say, and please don't take offense to this, heat culture is bullshit. So anyway, let's get to these plugs. Are you guys? Who are you guys playing? Are you guys? We're dominating the Toronto
Not
Raptors
on a team
right now. Yeah, Shane goes, oh, I don't actually work for a team. We Joel Embiid hit a buzzer beater last night in overtime to send the Raptors to an 0-3.
You're
Go ahead.
Such a Philly sports fan. Like,
oh
I love
yeah.
It.
Oh yeah.
My director in Miami, he's also a huge Philly sports fan, and he will argue with me back and forth, like literally until he's blue in the face.
That's funny. You're nude there, ready to shoot a scene, and he's like, I mean, what does Butler bring? Like, I mean,
no, well,
he's like, can't shoot from the outside anymore.
He's like, did you see that game last night? Bullshit. Y'all are bullshit. I'm like, okay.
So when all those people at my job, good. I don't know what you're talking about.
He gets so mad and upset about it, but what I go back to, like what I always think of when he talks to me about Philly sports is that episode, and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, when they go to try out for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's like one of the first episodes where the show really got great. Yeah, that's a good one.
That is every time I'm like, I'm gonna know It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode. Like, this is just never gonna end. Like, it's just, yeah.
So this won't come out until probably after, but what's your finals pick?
Ooh. Honestly, I see the Suns taking it.
Me too. I'm thinking Suns Bucks. But I think we can both agree.
Honestly, Chris Paul deserves it. Like I love Chris Paul as an athlete, he just seems like a very nice person, and I feel like he missed his opportunity last year to get a ring, and I feel like this might be his last year, so I feel like it should go to them. And also Devin Booker is fire.
So you heard it here first, folks. Joslyn Jane is saying the only time she would ever shoot a DP scene is with Jared Leto and Chris Paul. Joslyn Jane, you can find her on Twitter, XXXJoslyn, JOSLYN. Instagram, love Joss, JOSJANE. And what we're pushing hard is the OnlyFans. Go and sign up at the OnlyFans. It is Joslyn Jane. One quick thing, how many times have you been banned from Instagram that you have to keep changing your name and making it different from everything else you do?
This is my 6th one.
Okay, all right. Yep, I figured. Yep. All right. Thanks for listening today. Joslyn, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Thanks for listening to Your Worst Friend. Going deeper.